Hi, I'm Dr. Boyce Watkins. Welcome to Financial Lovemaking. This is where we talk about love, life, money, and everything in between. And I'm here again with my buddy, partner, and co-host out of New York, Miss Tia Brown, the entertainment director at Ebony Magazine. What's up to you?
Hi, how are you? I'm doing well.
Good, good. You and I were talking about Ciara and Two Chains.
His name is Future,
Oh,
not
Two
Future.
Chains, they're the same person. Two Chains, Future, same thing. Ratchet rappers, all in the same box, right?
Okay, so, guys, for those of you who haven't heard, it seems like Sierra and Future, who she was engaged to for several months, maybe almost a year or so, and just recently gave birth to a son. And they've split. And people are sad for Sierra. She's one of our biggest pop stars, and people want that happily ever after for everyone. However, there were some signs that possibly this union wouldn't make it to the altar. And one of those biggest things that people are clamoring about is that Future did have about three baby mamas before he was engaged to Sierra. So many people kind of say, hey, that wasn't a good sign for his ability to commit, and she kind of knew what she was getting into. What do you think, boys?
Well, here's what I think. I think that people just love to steal my articles on the internet, and I can tell you, I Google searched Sierra and Future. I was joking when I said Two Chains. I know that they're different people, but
Good.
now hip hop is so cookie cutter. Everybody's imitating everybody else, and a lot of it ends up being ratchet. But I actually wrote an article, basically explaining why I felt that Sierra and Future. See, now I'm almost calling them Two Chains by
Yeah.
accident. Sierra and Future, whose real name is
I probably talked about it. That was in different hands.
Navadius Demon Wilborn, which I guess that Future runs out a lot smoother than Navadius. But anyway, I wrote basically an article saying that this relationship, in my opinion, was doomed from day one, and a lot of it had to do with his past and as well as the culture to which he's been indoctrinated. Understand, when you decide to commit to a person who already has all these baby mama, baby daddy obligations, understand that you're committing yourself to a life of chaos most of the time. Not all the time, but in many cases, yes. Because you're dealing with all these different stakeholders in your relationship. You're dealing with all these children that are looking for emotional and financial attention. You're dealing with mothers and or previous parents that are going to somehow interject in your relationship, and if they decide to be destructive, that could be destructive for you. And then that doesn't even count the fact that this person that you're committing to has, for the most part, left pieces of themselves in previous relationships. Every time, I don't care if you stay with the person 10 minutes. Every time you have a child with another person, you're leaving a piece of yourself in that relationship. They're going to have a piece of your bank account. They're going to maybe have a piece of your emotional well-being or whatever. And so when you get to that point where you're the one that's going to marry the guy with four babies mamas, I think Future has three, something like that. When you get to the guy, when you're marrying the guy that has three babies mamas, understand you're not getting a whole man. You're getting a piece of a man, right? And I think as long as people understand what they're dealing with, that's okay. But it creates so much complexity as a mother, and fathers go through this as well. You're going to have to figure out how to deal with all these other kids from all these other relationships, and you don't have control over how these kids are raised. You're going to have to deal with all these other women that are in and out of the space, and you don't know what's going on with that. And then on top of that, if you're dealing with a man who, if you assume Future is authentic in his music, he's, you're talking about a guy with a value system that isn't necessarily wired for fatherhood and manhood, right? He loves to rap about slinging dope, wasting his money, killing people, having sex with every woman he sees. What kind of husband is that? So I didn't really have a lot of confidence in this relationship from the beginning.
Yeah, I mean it's really sad. I hate to see any family break up, and even though they weren't married, they still have a family. And as you're saying, he has families with several other women because they have children together. I think when you're dealing with someone who has a child or children out of the household, the first thing you have to consider is the scope of responsibility, right? Not only just your personal responsibility to be a good role model and interact, but also the financial responsibility of dealing with all these households. Then you have to think about your deal breakers because, again, like you're saying, as evidenced with past behavior, you see that, there's certain cycles or patterns that could possibly not be great for this relationship. And the last thing, and this is something that my friends and I always talk about, you don't want to negotiate backwards, right? So I think that being committed to a relationship happens much more easily once you're married and you decided that you have chosen to be together without having to be together. And sometimes when you have kids, you feel like, we're stuck together. So we don't always have to do the work of the relationship in terms of maintaining that coupledom. So for people who are really focused on making sure you have a strong union, I always encourage, do the work on being a strong team, a strong duo. Go to couples counseling, go to couples therapy, get married, and then you start building the family. After we're on the same page about how we want to raise these kids. We're on the same page about finances. We're on the same page about careers. So all of those things are really what it takes to build a solid foundation. That said, who knows what lies in the future for Ciara and the Vidius. So, as always, I wish this couple best of luck. If it's a healthy relationship or has potential, I hope that it works out. If not, your lucky girl, Ciara, part ways now and allow him to be involved in his son's life in a healthy manner and keep it moving.
There you go.
You go, girl. Love to hear your thoughts on this topic, guys. So write in and let us know. Have a great day.
All right. Bye-bye.